Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Matt, and today I wanted to talk about learning a language for free and the costs of learning a language. And one of the great things is that you actually don't need any money at all to learn a language and get fluent or competent. And that's a great thing because, for a lot of people, that's just not a reality, right? Maybe you live in a developing country and it's just you don't have the money to spend on language learning, or maybe you're just not in a position to spend money on language learning right now, or even like let's just say you want to explore learning a language, but you don't really want to drop that much money into the process, at least at the beginning. And that's totally great, and you can make a ton of progress that way. I think the best way to think about spending money on the language learning process is that really what that does for you is it saves time. I think that's the biggest thing. Some of these things that you spend money on can save the amount of time it'll take you to get to fluency. It makes the process a lot smoother. It can make explanations a little bit easier, and it just makes it a little bit easier and more efficient. That's the best way to think about it. But by no means do you really need to just drop a ton of money to get fluent in a language. It's just not the case. And there's plenty of examples out there of people doing that for pretty much no money at all. So that's the great thing. And as a beginner, it can be very tough to kind of try to see this because you really don't have a lot of experience with learning a language. It's very overwhelming. You don't know where to go, and there's all these products out there offering you to buy this program or whatever, and you just think that it's inevitable. I can't really learn a language too effectively without spending money. But once you actually learn a language, or you at least just do it for a while, you'll start to see what works and what doesn't work, and the things you got to concentrate on. And you'll find that a lot of the things that are being sold to you actually aren't very helpful, and you actually never needed them in the first place. Now, that being said, there are things out there that I think are great value for your money invested, right? It's not all bad. It's not to say that anyone that offers a language learning service is bad. But there are definitely a lot of programs out there that aren't very great, right? And even if they aren't very good, it's just way too expensive for the cost. And that's something important to remember too. Just because there is something that's not free doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. And some of those things are, like I said, aren't that great, but there's some that are really good, and it can really speed up the process. It can make understanding things a lot easier, right? Like even on just a very simple level, spending a little bit of money on a good grammar book can help you to understand grammar versus looking at YouTube explanations of those concepts. And it just depends, right? So don't feel like you need to spend a ton of money on language learning to get fluent. I'd say that especially if you're just starting out, it can be a little bit overwhelming, and it might be worthwhile to pick up like a easy book or something like that, just to kind of have some sort of framework, because I can understand how it's very intimidating and very overwhelming to try learning a language, especially for free. But if you really don't want to go down that route of spending any money on language learning, I think that there's just one critical step you want to do, and that's coming up with a plan in the language learning process. So if you come up with a good plan, you know now what you need to focus on, and then you can go seek out those resources that are free. So I think for a lot of people, they don't want to go down that entire planning process themselves, that do it themselves attitude. They just kind of want that program thrown to them, do this app, do this book or whatever, and don't explain to me what I need to go find or anything like that. I just want it done for me, and that's fine, right? And there's plenty of programs out there that are willing to do that for you at a cost. But by no means do you have to do that. You actually can probably do a lot of that a lot more effectively on your own. But if you are really kind of bent on doing language learning for free, or at least at the beginning, definitely the key step there is to create a good plan, right? Determine what you need to focus on at the beginning, what you're going to do, and then find the resources out there that are going to help you to accomplish those things. It seems kind of very basic and straightforward, but that plan is going to help you to really decide where to go and where to spend your time. And then from there, it's just about finding the resources, trying things out, and going from there. Like I said, just with a little bit extra effort, in time investment, that entire process can be completely free and actually quite efficient as well. Now, like I said, if you decide to go buy a program or use the premium version of an app or something like that, a lot of that's taken care of for you, right? They, have the plan set up. You don't really have to think about it. But it might not be the most efficient way to learn the language. So it's just two things to just kind of think about. And once you kind of get past that beginner stage, there's a lot of resources out there where you can spend money, whether that's like on a conversation partner or whatever. That might be worthwhile to look at. But even if you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that as well. So what's the end kind of thing here? Well, you don't need to spend money on languages. If anything, it's completely possible to do this entire process completely free. Really, basically spending money on language learning products, really what that does for you is it speeds up the process, it makes it easier, and it takes care of a lot of that planning for you. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.